Hi Libra, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your January 11th, 2024 new moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out tremendously, and it helps this channel be seen by the YouTube algorithm. So thank you so very much for doing so. So let's see what the tarot has to say. Angels and spirit guides. We have the Eight of Pentacles. We have the Two of Wands. We have the Star coming through, which is also very strong Aquarius energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. We have the King of Wands reversed. We have the Seven of Pentacles, and we have the Empress. So this is a very powerful, very strong, very beautiful reading, Libra, and I'm so happy to be able to share it with you. So the Eight of Pentacles this is going to be a very hardworking moon. We're going to be seeing a lot of kind of like the details of things, the finer, way of things, the finer lines of things are going to become very apparent during this new moon. I don't know if I've been saying full moon, so I do apologize if that's the case. But during this new moon, we're going to be seeing the finer lines of things. Like there's going to be beauty in the shadows also that's going to be coming forward, but we can be very work oriented. And from this new moon to the next new moon, or from, if we're not as moon sensitive, from the new moon to the full moon. So just being aware of this, doors are going to be opening for us. We're going to see ourselves moving forward in a way that we hadn't necessarily anticipated or thought like, oh, I could go that route, or I could be doing this, or I could be doing that. The star, a strong Aquarius energy coming forward. If you have Aquarius in your chart, or you have Aquarius in your life, okay, these people, if you have them in your life, are going to be coming through very strongly. If you have Aquarius in your chart, that part of your personality is going to be coming out very strongly, very powerfully, but also very much to your benefit during this time. With the King of Wands reverse, we have to be mindful of being hot-headed. Everybody has to be mindful during this new moon of being hot-headed. We do have, and also just being hot-headed in general, we have Mars out of bounds till the 23rd of January, which means we have much more extreme emotions coming forward. So everybody can be a little bit hot-headed, a little bit intense. So just being aware of this during this time is going to be super important. The Seven of Pentacles is planting seeds, looking at how do I want to move forward? Where is it that I want to be? But it's also patience. Patience is going to be very important. I see it more as, kind of gently waiting and gently observing. But there's going to be a level of calmness, of gentleness that's moving us forward during this time, or that we need to embrace. During this time, we can find it a bit difficult to slow it down to that energy. With the Empress is very much creative energy. It's birthing forward new ideas. I see it again with the lines. I don't know, like fine lines, if somebody draws, okay, or if it's like calligraphy with the fine lines, or laser. If you work with a laser and you're getting those fine lines, and you're working with fibers that are so small. Just be aware. It's all about the details of things during this time. It's all about the fine lines, stitch work. You're going to see it's all about the fine lines during this time. So let's see what Spirit has to say. And if you are interested in entering to receive a free reading, please put a snowflake in the comment box below. A person will be chosen at random and announced in a separate video on the 1st of February. Do not be scammed by anybody contacting you in the comment box. It will not be me. So good luck, everyone. And if you're interested in purchasing a private reading, a private personalized meditation, or a healing, check out my website, daneharttarot.com. So let's see what Spirit has to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly, guide this reading, and show me clearly. We have two. Okay, interesting. We have blossoming and breathe reverse. So blossom and breathe. We're going to tend to hold our breath, Libra. You're just going to see you get really kind of like into something or stressed out. And the first thing that you need to do is focus on your breathing, right? When things start to get stressful. And that's going to be the last thing that we do. So Spirit is saying here, breathe. Don't hold your breath. Calm and breathe. We are blossoming during this time, but we want to keep ourselves in a certain way that we had seen ourselves before. We are also having a bit of difficulty listening to our inner child. So that's going to be really important during this time to blossom, to embrace ourselves, to say, okay, what do I need? To slow things down, to focus on the breath. That's going to be super important. Let's see what our chakra energy has to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Again, we have two. we have the crown chakra, and we have the earth star chakra. So the earth star chakra is Mother Earth. We need to connect with the earth more, ground ourselves, stabilize ourselves, connecting with Mother Earth. You hear people say, "Oh, she's she's an earth mother." There we go. And I always think that's so interesting because they mean it to be like so nurturing and so loving and so compassionate. But the earth also brings us hurricanes and tornadoes and, tsunamis. So with earth mother energy, we tend to think of it as rather passive or, as just completely giving. And there's a fierceness to it as well. So just being aware of that. I feel like somebody needs to know that. And Spirit is saying, show that there's fierceness to the Mother Earth energy too. And with spiritual awakening the crown chakra, we are going to see ourselves opening up our eyes more. Like our crown, we're placing the crown upon our head of awakening, of insight, of understanding, of deeper knowledge. And that can weigh heavy on some of us, but it's also going to really exhilarate us during this time. So being aware of that energy and embracing that energy is going to be beautiful. Let's see what we need to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. Here we have the Nine of Wands. We need to be mindful of battles that we fought before. We need to be mindful of body pains and headaches, especially in our right arm. Okay. There's going to be a sense, I just feel a bit of joint pain coming through, like in our shoulders. So just being aware of that during this time. But there's going to be a real sense of, I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of having to defend myself, left, right, and center all the time. And really looking at, how do I move forward? Where is it that I want to be? And what is it for me? Calming things down, centering things, and really seeing ourselves is going to be huge for us during this time. So let's talk about this moon astrologically speaking. So this moon is at 20 degrees, 44 minutes of Capricorn. This is, the new moon, of course. And of course, the new moon and the sun are aligned both the same way, 20 degrees, 44 minutes of Capricorn. So again, Mars is out of bounds. So be mindful of your emotions during this time, especially with the King of Wands reverse, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. If we have fire sign energy in our chart, it can tend to be a bit all over the place. We can find ourselves being very reactionary to things and then thinking about them and being like, oh man, I wish I didn't do that. So just be aware of this during this time. It's always better to take a beat, to take a breath, which is going to be more difficult for us because we're excuse me, we're not in our breath right now. We're kind of scattered out, and Spirit's like, turn it in, go inward. And there's just something here where we're having a bit of a resistance. So maybe not all of us, but definitely the majority of us are having a bit of a resistance going inward, focusing on the breath, calming it down, centering ourselves. On the 11th of January, we also have the dwarf planet Eris moving stationary direct at 24 degrees of Aries, which brings justice and truth really to the forefront of things. With the Eight of Pentacles, we're really working hard to have that justice and truth brought forward, like to do things to the highest extent of our abilities. Be mindful of falling into the trap of being too perfect, of trying to do things just right, of trying to do everything just so fair, so even that it almost becomes impossible. And that can be a little bit crippling. So do be mindful about that. Pluto is at 29 degrees of Capricorn, okay? And will be until the 20th. We have to be mindful about this because this can bring out the less positive aspect of Capricorn. Very top-down structure, very rule-oriented, very, fierce, determined. It's not, but not in like a good way. It's kind of like in a very dogmatic, you're not listening to me. It has to be like that. I see that very flamed by the King of Wands reverse. So just be mindful about this during this time. I do know Capricorn energy is an earth sign energy, but wand energy is also connected with the earth. So Spirit is saying here, hey, listen, we can take this frustration and really turn it into temper, or however our temper manifests in our lives. We can find ourselves being a little bit more weepy because we're frustrated, or shutting down because we are overwhelmed, frustrated, and we're just like, you know what, I'm not looking at anything right now. So do be mindful about this. Now, not the 20th, but 2024 is a time where we're really building, really seeing ourselves, planting the seeds, building, embracing the Seven of Pentacles energy and saying, how am I moving this forward? Where is it that I want to be? What am I building for my future? And we're becoming very precise in the way that we're seeing things, in the way that we're moving forward. It's also simple joys. During this time, you can find yourself really simplifying things, really scaling things back, really honing things in a way that is much more precise, much more in, in alignment with your soul and yourself. Whereas before it could be all kind of all over the place. Now we're really honing it in and saying, this is aligned with me. The new moon is trine Uranus, which is very inspiring. We're very inspired for our future. We're really looking at a lot of our dreams, a lot of our wishes with the star card coming forward. This isn't just like the cross your finger, I wish for XYZ. This is very much the sense of, this is what my soul longs for. This is what I wish for. This is what I want. The Two of Wands, the doors are opening. The Two of Wands is a real sense of, okay, I'm stepping into this power. I'm stepping into myself. And we're seeing ourselves really starting to align with our deeper values, with what is sacredly important to us, and even asking, what is sacredly aligned with me? What is it that creatively I want to birth forward into my world? Mars is trine Jupiter, which is very enthusiastic, go get it energy. And we can see that here during this time. We are going to be very work oriented. So that's going to be where our energy is mainly focused, but it's also going to be focused on money or what we value as much as money. So anything here where it's a main priority of ours, that's going to get a lot of our attention. We might not really be taking care of ourselves. We might not, be really, aligned with doing everything perfectly, having everything be perfect. But it's like our main things that are sacredly important to us, that's coming to the forefront of the table. All right. So Mars is also powering the dwarf planet Ixion. And Ixion is in Capricorn. Now we're being asked the question, are we living by the rules that are right for us? And we're not talking about societal rules, but we are talking about, are we living by the rules in our soul, in ourselves, that are right for us? Are we embracing our truth and our desire, like our soul's wish here on this earth? And the star card, when it comes up, it really does bring that forward. The star card represents Aquarius energy. We're entering into the age of Aquarius. We're connecting more with our hearts. We're connecting more with spirit and the spiritual. And there's a realm of understanding here that the door is opening to. Now, the North lunar node is squared the new moon. And this is our collective soul really moving towards, future growth. This is the collective soul of the universe. And we're going to see that there's a questioning here. There's a sense of people feeling out of alignment with their fire and their passion. We see it more with the King of Wands reversed because we're attuned to it. We are aligned with that sense of, not being calibrated correctly. And it brings us to this place of needing to have patience with ourselves. We need to slow it down. And we need to find things in our life that slow it down, and align it for us. So just being aware of that. And it brings us to a place where we are really able to be kind of masters of our domain, to embrace the Empress energy. There's nothing higher. Well, you could say an emperor is, but there is nothing higher than the emperor empress. In medieval times, you also had, right, the Pope. The Pope could be just as high as the emperor or the empress. But we have here tremendously powerful energy moving us forward. And we're going to see that for ourselves during this time. But it's very creative energy. It's very, nuanced energy. It's focusing on softer things. It's not the harsh lines. It's the softer lines. It's the quiet details of things that are really going to pull us in and guide us during this moon. Now, Saturn is sextile Jupiter, which is very positive energy for good finances, for our financial goals, and also for building our business. So just be aware of this during this time, that there's positivity here moving us forward. Now, what's also very interesting about this new moon is that we have the dwarf planet Gungkung conjunct Saturn. Now, Gungkung is linked with flooding, so do be mindful about that. It can be literal flooding that we see in the world. But this is also aligned with feeling very overwhelmed and constricted. So we can be feeling very overwhelmed and constricted in just our day-to-day life. And we're like, why? Why? I don't understand this. My life didn't change so much. Maybe it did for some, but I'm seeing this in people where it's like, I just woke up and I just feel constrained. I feel overwhelmed. I feel like drowning. So just being aware of that is going to be super, super important. And it doesn't only bleed out into the day-to-day, but it's also seen in the psychic and the emotional energy that's coming at us. We can feel constrained. We can feel overwhelmed. If you want to go deeper into this, I highly recommend Pam Gregory's channel here on YouTube, and I have her linked in the description box below. So just knowing this during this time, that the floodgates are open. We feel constrained, and we're going to be, pushing out against it. We're going to be really opening up to what we need, what we desire, where we want to be, what is important to us, and looking at things differently. Let's see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Okay. So what's very interesting here is that when we have the Eight of Pentacles, right, we're very focused on work, Libra. We then have nourishment and believe in the impossible reversed. So we're very focused on what needs to be done, but we're not nourishing our souls and we're not believing in the impossible. We're not opening up our souls to saying, well, why not me? Like, why not, break down barriers? Sorry, I just hit my mic. Why not, break down the barriers that are holding me back and embrace my world? So just knowing that about ourselves, that we're going to be looking at things rather practically during this time, saying, okay, what do I need to get done? What is this? What is that? I do see soft lines coming in, just beautiful soft lines. Also, like the wind coming in through curtains, just being inspired by the very gentle things, the very soft things. That's going to be really important during this time. We need to nourish ourselves. You need to make sure you're eating. That's going to be one of the ways that we're not nourishing ourselves or not eating really healthy food. If we eat a lot of leafy greens, a lot of deep dark colors, that could be highly beneficial for us. So just being aware of that during this time and believing in the impossible. Things that seem like, oh, this could never be. It's like, why? Why are we limiting ourselves? Why are we holding ourselves back? So being aware of that is going to be super important as well. A personal issue reaches resolution. Now, it's funny because we haven't been hungering for it. And yet we have here doors opening. And we haven't been hungering for the way things are moving forward or for what we desired. There's a sense of apathy. But then a personal issue, it's like then we start to see things and it's like, oh, okay, I think I solved that problem. But it wasn't something that we were hungering after, like starving after. There's almost a sense of like we put that aside. And now we're coming to it again. And it's like, oh, I remember you. So just be aware of that. We then have with the star, we have the end of a tough cycle approaches. That's reversed. And we have extremes coming into play. So just be mindful about that it doesn't necessarily mean, it doesn't mean anything bad, right? But we have our star, we have our deepest wishes, we have what our soul desires. And we don't feel like an end of a tough cycle approaches. We actually feel like things are getting more extreme or more extreme. So stepping out of that extreme energy, focusing on the breath, grounding ourselves to the earth, embracing the awakening that's coming to us, that's going to be really important because we're tired of the fighting. And we're going to be thinking, no, I don't get to have my dreams, right? I don't get to have the beauty that's opening to me. I still have to fight, right? I still have to work my tush off. I still have to keep going and keep doing and keep building and keep. And Spirit's like, why? Who are you proving this to? Live your life. It's a sacred one. It's the one we get to remember here in the now. So just know that an end of a tough cycle is approaching, but we have to step out of the extremes. Abundance is coming. Now, the King of Wands is very focused on the earthly plane. The King of Wands reversed is it's a lower base energy, right? When the cards are reversed. So we have abundance coming in and we have expect powerful change. We know that there's abundance. We can see it. We can feel it. This can very much be an energy of I'm just going to take what I want type of thing. So do be mindful about that because that never really ends the way that we want it to. It's not good karmically to just take and take. And then expect powerful change. That's reversed. We're really not expecting things to change. We need to start stepping into abundance. And once we start stepping into abundance, once we start embracing our passion, our fire, our determination, our focus, then we will expect the powerful change. Then we'll start to see it moving. But stepping into abundance is just like, okay, be ready for a time of abundance, right? And it's like, okay, that sounds great, Dane, but what the heck does that mean? And it can mean that you plant a garden and you can find that you have like 18 million tomatoes, ready to be picked in the springtime. So it can mean that, but it can also mean that you start to have abundance of ideas. You start to have a way of looking at things that is desirable. Like people gravitate towards you just because of your authenticity. And I know authenticity is thrown around. It's a buzzword now. And I kind of find that annoying because it's like, okay, what is it? I have to be totally true to myself all the time. But no, you can't, right? You have responsibilities. You have to go to the grocery store, even if you don't want to. Being true to yourself might be, taking a bubble bath. So here, what we're going to be looking at is like, what's in alignment with my soul? What brings my soul joy? What brings my soul happiness? What aligns with me? And we're going to start looking at that, like what causes my soul chaos, and then what brings my soul peace. And if we start just breaking it down that way, and that being our authentic self, that being the soul's wish that's coming forward during this time, that's going to be astoundingly liberating. It brings us then to have faith in your dreams, purity coming forward, which is an interesting word, right? We have the 7 of Pentacles, we're planting the seeds. But I always think of purity, especially since we just had a big snowstorm here where I live, as the beautiful quiet during a snowstorm or after a snowstorm where the whole world just goes still. And the snow hasn't been trampled on and it's, not dirty. It's just this beautiful blanket of quiet stillness. And there's just something so amazing about that. When the birds start to sing their song, and it echoes off the snow and the trees are just draped in white. There's something just so exquisitely beautiful. It's like you see the pine trees way down with snow and it almost looks like lacework, has been draped over them. There's something so beautiful to that. Have faith in your dreams. Have faith that there's purity in the imagination, but also have faith that once you pull that out of the realm of imagination, it's never going to be as perfect as it was in your thoughts. It's almost like by bringing it to the earthly plane, we have fingerprints put all over it, and that's okay. It's okay. It brings us to adjustments are required. Sovereignty comes forward with the moon, which is the queen of the moon, and I think it's very interesting that she is reversed over the empress. So there's that sense of the tarot energy here being very true for us, and the moon energy almost playing second fiddle. It's not going to be not true for us. That's not the case because the moon is going to make herself known. But this is going to be a time where we are pregnant with those powerful ideas, powerful imaginations, powerful, desires in our life. And we want to bring them forward. And this moon is saying, I will not stop you, but you have to know my power. You have to see my power. You have to connect with me, meaning we have to connect with the cycle of simply being human, which is shown to us every single month. The closing of the eyes, the then awakening. And that's how I see the moon. It's like the going into ourselves, the hibernation of the spirit, or connecting with our inner desires, and then slowly and steadily stepping forward and forward and forward towards our goals till we reach the crescendo on the full moon. And then as we reach that crescendo, then seeing, okay, how do we upkeep that? How do we then again step into ourselves to look at what to do next for the next new moon, what we're stepping into, and then reaching the crescendo for the next full moon. So there's going to be a beautiful cycle here that we are also embracing. Our subconscious spirit message is meditate. Meditation is so easy, right? We just sit and be quiet. And you can even do the exercise that I hear that I have a friend, and she said she just lets people sometimes stare at a wall. And she's like, there's no picture on it. There's nothing intriguing about the wall. It's just simply a wall. And she says people can start to cry. People start to cry. People can just be so overwhelmed. They can't do it. They can't. And it's just being still. And it's just connecting. And in our world where we have 18 million distractions, right? Where our attention is constantly being vied for. Meditating, stillness, just staring at a wall. That's power. And that's taking your power back. And Libra, we're going to be surprised at the subtle, quiet ways, because that's going to be very important. The subtle, quiet ways we are taking our attention back. We're taking our power back. It moves us then to our subconscious tarot message, chakra message, which is the Earth Star chakra, again, coming through. And here we have nourishing reversed. So Spirit is saying, hey, listen, you got to nourish yourself. You do. You have to nourish yourself. You're going to nourish everybody else, take care of everything else. We have that here with nourishment with the moon coming through as well, and believing in the impossible. You're not taking care of you. And if I can stress one thing, Spirit is stressing one thing throughout this whole reading, you have to take care of you. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Two of Swords reversed. We have very black and white thinking, white page, black print, that's the way it has to be. Very rule oriented. Okay, cool. That's one way of doing it, but we're stifling ourselves. We're not letting ourselves move forward the way that we need to. So being mindful about that is super important too. Our subconscious tarot message is the Emperor. Okay, look at this. The Emperor and the Empress here. Soulmate connection, true love connection is coming forward, Emperor and Empress. So be aware of this. Be aware of this during this time. You could meet your soulmate. You could be strengthening a relationship. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, though it darn well can be. The Emperor is power, determination, focus, insight. The Empress is sacred feminine energy. This is sacred masculine energy. How are you balancing the two? Do you have that harmony within you? That's going to be also very important since sovereignty, the queen of the moon, is reversed. Are we not balancing the sacred feminine energy correctly within ourselves? And really looking at that. That's going to be important. But the Emperor is being able to see things very with tremendous determination, focus, insight, ideas, really opening up our mind, and also being very kind of goal oriented. And subconsciously, that's what we're going to be. We're going to be like, okay, these are the goals. This is what I'm going after. We might find that we really like lists. If you like lists, that's fantastic. I'm not one of those people, but a to-do list that says, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But we can also be a little bit more organic with ourselves. I just see like not holding yourself too restrained is going to be very important. Our subconscious Luna message is the realization that we are the key. And that brings us to the fact that nothing is yet set in stone. We tend to think that way as human beings. Oh my gosh, I'm this many years old. It's all going to be just like this forever and ever and ever. Stop it. Nothing is yet set in stone. Let yourself have the freedom of discovery and have the freedom of beauty guiding you forward. The realization that you are the key. Your mindset, the way you look at things, the way you interact with the world, that creates your reality. And that can create your existence forevermore. Who knows? So really embracing that, stepping into our mind, our body, our spirit, our soul, and asking ourselves, what do I need? What do I want? What is irrelevant to me now? What did I think was super important and now I'm realizing isn't? And am I frustrated about that? Did I waste money and time and effort with something that I no longer feel is valuable anymore? So being aware of this during this time is going to be super important. All right. All right, Libra. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of this time and of ourselves. And please note that this meditation and healing will be accompanied by a loud sound. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Libra. May blessings and prosperity always be with you. I love you all. God bless. Bye.